Now, I talk about a lot of different forms of storytelling on this channel. Movies, TV shows, animation, anime, and I even talked about a manhwa that one time. But I've never talked about my favourite and what I believe to be the best way to experience / tell a story. And that is gaming. I have been a lover of storytelling for as long as I can remember. I even used to write my own stories when I was a kid. And for the longest time, my favourite form of storytelling was always movies. And no matter what anyone would tell me to deter me from having this opinion, I was stuck in my ways and stubborn about it, and all of that changed as soon as I played my first ever story game. Now, I can't remember exactly what my first story game was. All I remember is that it was life-changing. Now, I know a lot of gamers out there are agreeing with me right now, but I can already hear the non-gamers who don't play games or have never played a good story game screaming at the screen at me right now, telling me how stupid I am, I need to go get a better education, and how they want me to die. Because yeah, apparently it's that deep. But if you're one of those people, stick with me and watch the video. I might be able to change your mind by the end. Now, when it comes to movies and TV shows, we only get shown what needs to be shown, if that makes sense. We are only ever shown stuff that makes sense in the context of the movie. They can only show what is necessary to the story because they only have a certain amount of runtime. It makes sense. And it's a similar thing with a TV show. They have more time than a movie does to tell a story, but a lot of that time is allocated to fleshing out certain characters, finding out certain character motivations. If it's a zombie show, we find out how the, pandemic originated from. In a similar way, it can only show what is necessary for the overall story of said show. Again, makes sense. They only have a certain amount of runtime and they want to keep people intrigued. However, when a game's story and gameplay and just overall world is done well, none, and I mean none, of the best movies or the best TV shows even compare to the level of immersion and just overall enjoyment of the entire story. And now, to accentuate my point, I am going to talk about one of my favourite games of all time, Ghost of Tsushima. In Ghost of Tsushima, we play as a character named Jin Sakai. He is a samurai and he is the only surviving member of his clan, Sakai. He is basically brought in by his uncle, Lord Shimura, and basically gets raised as Shimura's son. At the very start of the game, we see hundreds of samurai trying to stop a mongrel invasion from happening. And we see that the samurai are so caught up with honor and just integrity and just the way that the samurai do things that the mongrels pretty much overpower them instantly. Pretty much every samurai is killed on this beach. Lord Shimura is taken captive. However, Jin Sakai, the main man himself, ends up being one of the only samurais to survive this attack. We follow him trying to, save Lord Shimura from the mongrels, while also trying to liberate Tsushima from mongrel control. And throughout the entire game, the code that he has lived his life by, the samurai code, is tested time and time again. He tries to be honorable, he gets his shit rocked because the Mongols are not honorable. They use fire, they use poison, they use anything in their arsenal to get the upper hand on their victims. We see throughout the entire game Jin battling with the fact that his code of conduct that he has lived his entire life by is slowly but surely shattering in front of him. He sees friends getting killed because he couldn't do anything because of his code. He sees civilians being murdered on the streets as if they are dogs. And after a long battle within himself, seeing the samurai code fail time and time again against the Mongols, he comes to the conclusion that the only way to fight the Mongols and free his country from their control is to abandon his samurai code and fight dirty. He now starts assassinating people, poisoning their food, using fire, smoke bombs, fire swords. Anything that the Mongols use against them, he uses to fight back. And ultimately, that is why he got the name the Ghost of Tsushima. And although even at the end of the game he succeeds in fending off the Mongols and freeing his country from their control and tyrants, his uncle Lord Shimura and the Shogun of Japan at that time did not see it that way. The Shogun basically tells Lord Shimura to kill his own son.
You have no honor, and you are a slave to it.
Because he fought in a way that wasn't honourable and in a way that wasn't aligning with the samurai code. And we get one of the most heartbreaking gaming moments in the world.
I will make sure you are remembered as a great warrior, a wise leader, and a father.
Absolutely amazing story that in and of itself would make for a great TV show or it would make for a great movie. My favourite parts about those games and just that storytelling experience in general would be lost if it was made into a movie or if it was made into a show. It wouldn't be as good. I also feel like this is one reason why a lot of video game adaptations fail, because even if the story on its own is sublime, absolutely fantastic, translating that word for word, beat for fucking beat, you wouldn't get the same feeling from it, and that's why a lot of them fail. You want to know why? Because you cannot replicate the feeling you get from playing video games. Because unlike in a movie or a show where you are with a character for this certain amount of time throughout the story, in the gaming world, you are Jin Sakai. You are this samurai. You are the ghost. Even in the downtime, or if you were going around doing side missions or going around doing clearing mongrel encampments and stuff like that, all of that time you are this character. You are experiencing this story from the character's point of view. You feel like you're a badass. You feel like you are saving this country from your actions. Countless hours of just exploring, running through fields on your horse, just looking at this incredibly beautiful landscape. Little side moments with characters that has nothing to do with the main story, but it really just shows what Jin Sakai is like. You get 40 plus hours to spend with this character. You don't need to go straight from, the start of the story to the end of the story in one fell swoop. You can just go around for hours just looking at the views. You can do what you want, and that just gives you an unmatched feeling of connection to this character and this character's struggles. Because when you're watching a movie or you're watching a TV show, you feel like a third party just watching this story unfold. But when you are playing the game and you are playing as this character, you feel like you are a part of it. You feel like you are contributing to this story. You are going around from camp to camp killing all of the Mongols and sending them on their way. You are the one who ends up killing the Mongol boss, and you are the person who is going around saving civilians' lives just because you want to. So in gaming, you are the story. You are not just along for the ride. You have so many little inner dialogue moments, so many little random encounters that really paint a picture of who Jin Sakai is as a character, as a person. And after 40 plus hours, you get more than enough of a gist of who this person is. You feel like you are him on a spiritual level. You understand him, which in turn makes it all the more heartbreaking when you see the thanks that he gets at the end of this journey. And all of it feels organic because of all of those small moments that you get with this character, even away from the main missions. You are with this character non-stop from start to finish. And that is just gaming in general. And that is why I believe it is the best way of telling a story, because you are the character. The longer you play, the more engrossed you become with the story, the more understandable the character becomes. You understand his motivations, you understand why he's doing this. And that's not just with Ghost of Tsushima, I'm just using that as an example. There is no other medium of storytelling that makes you feel so engrossed and immersed into the world and the characters. There is nothing like it. Even if the movie is top tier or the show is top tier, you will not feel as connected to that character as you would have been if you played as them for 40 fucking hours. And to all the non-gamers out there, I know 40 hours seems like a lot. It seems like a long time. First of all, it never feels that long. It always flies by. I'm playing Yote at the moment and I'm apparently 30 hours in. Feels like I've only been playing for 10, but on top of feeling like it goes by quickly, when it does eventually come to an end, you don't want it to come to an end. You don't want the story to be finished with. I was itching for more. I wanted more. I needed more. But do you believe that if a movie came out that was 14 to 15 hours long, that you would have that same effect? I don't think you would. It's the fact that you are actually controlling this character. You are moving the character around. You are fighting people that are trying to kill the main character. All of that is you. The only thing that is not you is the cutscenes. And by the time you get to the cutscenes, you already feel like you are the character. You get a sense of accomplishment when you kill one of the bosses that is fucking annoying you for so long. You get that feeling of you are getting better at the game, like especially with like games like Dark Souls and Black Myth Wukong. You get that feeling that you are also improving with your skills at the same time that the character is improving on his. I could play a game that is 40 hours long multiple fucking times if I wanted to, and if it's a good game, I would not get bored. But translate that to movie form, if there was a 40-hour movie that I needed to watch that pretty much done the exact same thing that the game does, where you just follow him around, it would not do well. It would not do well in the slightest, because people do not want to sit and watch something for that long. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to get that point across, that when you are the one controlling the character, it changes the game of the storytelling completely. For example, there is no other storytelling medium that would make me feel more upset about the death of a horse than the one in Ghost of Tsushima. That was fucking heartbreaking. I still have nightmares about that. At the start of the game, you pick a horse and you get to pick the name of said horse. And you play throughout pretty much the entire game with that horse. And about like a quarter of the way towards the end of the game, the horse ends up dying. And to say that I sobbed when I saw my horse take his last breath is a fucking understatement. This game made me cry over a fictional character that is a fucking horse. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, if a horse died in a sad way in a movie or show, I'd tear up a little bit, 100%. It's a sad moment, regardless. But it's made even sadder when I have spent the last 40 hours of my gaming journey with this companion. Just the experience of experiencing a story through gaming form is fucking unmatched, man. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a gamer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that with any bias in my voice. It took me years to even like try give story games a chance, you know? There was no right way to play games. There was no right time to have started to play games. So if you feel like you cannot play games because you never did as a kid, don't be silly. You don't need to have been a kid when you started to play games to enjoy playing games now. You know? So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That is the reasons that I have for gaming being the best storytelling fucking motor house in the world. And it will never fucking change. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Am I being a silly little dumb boy? I don't know where that came from. But yeah, I enjoyed making this video. I just wanted to sit down and talk about it because it came to my mind, and these are usually my favorite types of videos to make, where it's just like a random spur of the moment type of thing. What do you think of my sign? My brother got it for me. I don't know if it's like focusing properly, but I love it. It's just like a little wooden thing that says The Real XO. Me, ya boy. I hope I done a good job explaining my reasonings. Like, I'm a bit weird. Sometimes I can't like fully express how I feel about something, but I hope I done a good job articulating what I meant. But yeah, thank you all for the support lately. All the videos have been doing really fucking well. It really truly means a lot to me. And yeah, we're on the road to 2k subscribers, so do with that information what you will. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I keep going on tangents. But yeah, with that all said, folks, it's been XO, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one, folks.